Hello, hello, friends. Welcome to the Inspire Speaker School platform here. Today we've got Anna Scobie, and she is a speaker coach. She helps specifically introverts to get past their fears, get up on stage, and live their goals and build their dreams and all the good stuff. So I'm excited to have this conversation with her, being an introvert, to help give you more insights. If you're an introvert, if you know someone who's an introvert and that's holding you back, we're going to have a big conversation about that and how to help you get on stage in 2025 so that you can share your message and live your dream and help other people do the same. So welcome, Anna. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be here. It is holiday spirits. We're all in a magical setting, so this is wonderful to add to this spirit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're just so close. We got like 1.5 more days till the beginning of the year. We had an amazing Christmas. I hope you did too. So yeah, comment below. So let us know what your goals are for 2025. We'd love to hear those, which we know they include speaking, or you wouldn't be listening here with us today. So Anna, tell us a little bit more about you are an introvert, but we want to hear, how did you get over your introvertedness? How did you get on stage? And why are you so passionate about helping people do that?
Well, I think my first step was a necessity. As most of us, I had to get out of my head and into speaking, and just like most of the introverts are amazing at sales. My first job intuitively was sales because I had to make money. I end up in a sales job, and I've discovered pretty well that I was really good at it. And I start speaking to people. And because I was observing while everybody else was jumping in and trying to sell something to the customers, I was observing the habits and I was watching the customers. So when I started actually talking to them, I knew what they were going for, and I knew and I heard what they were saying. So when I did speak to them, I was able to sell them what they needed because I looked, I watched, I listened. So from there, I start going up in the career ladder, and I end up being a manager of the store. I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, a little bit of lag there.
Oh, okay. So can you hear me now?
We can.
Good.
It was right in the middle that you're the sales. Actually, I'm going to interrupt you, but we're right in the middle of you're talking about sales, and I think we have the misconception that sales are all about what you say. And if you say the right thing in sales, like how do you get them to buy? How do you persuade them? How do you convince them? But really, it's all about listening, and it's all about
it's what you hear and what you see. Sales is what you hear. To me, at least, but that's how the introverts, I think that's how the introverts sell. They listen, they watch. Well, at least that's how I did. And then so from there, I end up being good at what I did. So I was given a team, and then from there I was training the team. And that's where I first discovered that I am enjoying being in front of the people. I didn't think, I kind of felt like, okay, I can lead the people in the past. But I was always told, like, be humbled. I was raised in a different country. So I was always told, like, blend in, be a part of the crowd, don't stood out, like, don't be anything, don't be noticed, be humble. So I always like, okay, I'll just be in the corner. So that was the first time when I discovered, like, oh, I like the kind of like attention on me. I like being noticed. I like being in front. And most importantly, I have things to say. I like people listening to me. And then I become a trainer. And from there, people would come to me and say, hey, I tried what you told me to do and it worked. And I was like, oh, it worked. So I realized that what I have to say matters. What I have to say makes a difference. And that became my motivation to keep saying more, to want to say more, to bring my message to audience. And that has been my motivation ever since. And I think that is the biggest words of inspiration to all those, to all of us, to all us introverts out there, because we have so much wisdom because we've been observing, we've been listening, we've been watching the world around us, and we have so much to say because we've noticed so much, we've processed so much. That's the beauty behind the introvert's mind, the way it works, because we watch, we analyze. That's our strength. That's how our mind works. So when we do ready to speak, we've already analyzed, we've already processed, we've already have that problem solved. But before we're ready to speak, we've already solved the problem. So we do have a solution when we're ready to speak. Or if we're ready to do the brainstorming, we have something to say. So we do have things to give to the world. So the stage is waiting for us. The audience needs us. They need to hear what we want to say.
Yes, that's so beautiful. I love how you pulled that in because both of us believe the same thing. Because I heard you say it when we met on the network party that introverts make some of the best speakers. And you kind of were like, oh, I don't want to the extroverts, but introverts make some of the best speakers. And I think it really comes down to extroverts have their strengths and introverts have their
Yes.
strengths. And we make different kinds of speakers. But one of the reasons that introverts make such great speakers is, like you said, they're such great listeners. And I have a husband who's very, very introverted. Luckily, just kidding. He listens to me talk so well. But yeah, whenever he has something to say, it's something pretty profound to say because he has taken the time to listen to all the things that I have to say. And then he's processed it, like you said, and analyzed it. And then whenever it's time to speak, he's ready to say something that's important and profound. And I think it's beautiful. And I want to kind of bring that back to what you said about sales too. Why is it, do you think, that you said, well, that's how I sold? But I think if for all of you listening, if you've ever been sold something, we prefer to be sold something that we actually want. I don't know about you, but I prefer to talk to someone who's actually listening to me. Like the reason that I buy the thing from them is because I feel like they understand me. They listen to me. They understand me. They care about me. They trust me. And so that's why I want to buy it from them, because they're going to treat me that same way whenever we get into the program or whatever they have to buy. I trust it more. So how does that same strategy, it works with sales, but how does that strategy work on the stage? Do you think that introverts maybe speak in a different way on stage than extroverts do? Can you speak to that?
Well, you said the word feel. And I think, and that's my belief, the word feel with introverts is the key word. Oh, did we get lagged again? Okay, am I back? Am I back?
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, lag it.
You said the word feel. And I think, and that's my belief, the word feel is the key word with the introverts, because they are the empathetic speakers. They use that connection, that engagement with the audience through that feel, because they observe the audience. They are able to, the skilled one, the one who understand how to adjust, how to be present with their audience. They are able to push the buttons of the audience to make the audience feel with them through stories, through that story arc that they take them on. And when the audience feel what it is that the introverts are selling them, quote unquote, they are with the introverts. And that's what makes introverts a powerful speakers, because they're able to connect with their audience through that story, through that feel. Where some other speakers, let's say we're not comparing, but some other speakers could do that fast sale where it is on the spontaneous, buy when you just walk in. It's like you need it. It's like, oh, okay, I don't know why I need it, but I'm gonna buy it. And then you come home and you were like, okay, why did I buy it? But okay, I bought it already, so I'm just gonna find and stick it somewhere on the shelf, but I'm not gonna use it. There's that kind of a sale too, and they are powerful too. That's why by the register you have all those trinkets. And then you have them, and it's a powerful marketing. And that's why there is some useful items you put on the back of the grocery store, and there is some items you put on the front of the store, so when you walk to the item you need. So the introverts are those items on the back of the store, and there is those sales on the front of the store, but to get to the back of the store you have to walk through all the store to get to it. But then as you walk in and you buy the chips and the candy, and so there's different kind of marketing techniques to get there. So there's different speakers who use a different marketing techniques to get to the point of where they need to get. But the introverts are those feel, it's the one that you bring home when you're like, I'm going to use this, it's going to fall apart like 5, 10, 20 years later, but you're like, I still want it, like I'm not throwing it away. It's that toy you remember, it's that speech you hold on to. It's like, I remember that speech, like think of that speech like JFK, the Martin Luther King, like I have a dream, like it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. It's those speeches we still remember. All of those speakers, most of them, they are introverts. Like if you look back into the history and you look at to who were those speakers, most of them are introverts by their biographies. If you look back and read about them, they are like deep down, yeah, they were up there in front of the crowds, but if you read about them, like their deep down memoirs, they're introverted speakers. They're introverts.
Yes, so interesting. Yes, and it's funny that you mentioned them, because this year in 2025, I have a goal to read 25 biographies of these speakers. And, I started with Mother Teresa. But if you look at these people, it's because they also think deeply. They also think deeply, and they reflect deeply, and they take a lot in. And then that's how they become the type of speaker that shows up on stage, and they're very connected and present with the problems that other people have. They're very grounded. They're not just there to be seen, which some extroverts can fall in. You can fall into that place of, oh, okay, I'm here to be seen. I just love the spotlight. So I get on stage. So they're very charismatic. We need to have another talk about extroverts and how extroverts are amazing speakers. But the introverts, like you're saying, it's Mother Teresa, and Gandhi. Like think about Gandhi and Mother Teresa. And, they were just so, I just call it, they be so good. They be so powerful. And how they're being is just so powerful, and who they are is so powerful, because they've taken it all in and they've become someone that can just stand there and say the powerful things. And I think that's one thing that we as speakers don't always think about or put our time into, especially new speakers are thinking, oh, well, I have to be the charismatic speaker. I have to have so much energy, or I have to say things a certain way, or I have to get rid of all the ums and the likes and the words that I'm not supposed to say. Instead of really realizing that you need to be first, you need to be someone who understands, you need to be someone who listens, you need to be someone who has something to say. So whenever you work with people, what are some of the key pieces that you work with people on, or the process that you take them through, especially these introverts that maybe have something to say, but they're a little bit scared or uncomfortable on the stage? Every time you have good stuff to say. That's what's happening. We're getting delayed, but go ahead.
I start with, as ironic as this sounds, I start with, you don't have to be anyone but yourself. And that's why it is Project Be You. And that's the most wonderful thing. You are an introverted speaker. And what we work on is, it's a switch. It's just like you putting the clothes on. You don't become a sweater, right? Or you don't become a pants or a hat. You are still you. So you wearing this clothes and you step on the stage or in that boardroom or in that classroom, and it's that switch. You becoming a persona that speaks. So we work on that. Who do you want to be when you walk into that room for that 5 minutes, for that 10 minutes? Like think of that speaker, and we look at some TED Talks, and we look at some presentation, and we look at, hey, do you have that favorite person? Like, hey, And this could be ambitious. Like, do you want to speak like a president? Do you want to speak like an ambassador? Do you want to speak like your favorite teacher? Do you have someone in mind who you like? And it's almost like, do you want to portray a certain habit? Do you want to use their gestures if you don't have your own? Do you want to use their body language? Do you want to use their steps? And in the beginning, it's easier for them to see, oh, okay, I can move like them. I can move my hands. I can move my body like them. I can stand like them. And soon enough, they're like, oh, okay, I think I can move a little bit different in my way or in this way. And then soon enough, they're like, oh, okay, I can be this for the 5 minutes. So it's almost like you are giving them this freedom of becoming someone without changing who they are. So I'm giving them the freedom of not changing who they are, but becoming someone for 5 minutes. And that releases them from that, oh, I was told I am bad at this. No, you're not bad at this. You are you, and you're perfect at who you are. You don't have to change that. We're just going to train that switch for that 5 minutes. And then you switch back to who you are, and you leave my class or you leave our session and you go back by your business, and you're great. You're great at who you are. And then you come back and we're going to play with that persona that you want to be when you step into that presentation.
That's really fun to think about, because I think without thinking about it, I think that's what we all do. But it makes sense in the sense that we do have all these different personas. We have different roles. I have my mom role that I step into when I'm talking to my kids. I have my, whenever I'm leading or I'm teaching, I have a different role really that I step into, or whenever I'm with my husband or hanging out with my girlfriends, it's all me, but I'm maybe, and it's not inauthentic, but I'm just showing different sides of me, or pulling out different strengths that I have inside of me. And whenever you look at it,
you're not becoming it, right? You're not like molding yourself totally, and you're not changing. You just becoming or switching into that role. It's the same thing with speaking, and just showing that client, that or that student, or that whoever I work with, it's just that. And they're like, oh, it's just that? I can do that. It's like, yeah, it's just like pretending like going on a date and liking someone when you don't. It's just like that. You don't have to like public speaking. You just pretending to like it for 5 minutes. And they're like, oh, okay, I can like it for 5 minutes.
But I think it's actually really helpful, because I have people ask me that all the time. How do I get over my fear? How do I do this? How do I do that? But I love that trick that you use, actually, because it's like almost saying you're setting it aside for a minute, and you're almost like
no, you can't set it aside.
That's over there, and we're over here, and this is who you're going to be for 5 minutes. I love what you're saying.
It's almost like you pretend like you walk into the bad date and you're just too kind to just tell that person in front of you. It's like, listen, this is not the picture from your profile. You look ugly, and this restaurant sucks, and I don't want to be here. Like, you're too nice to do this. So you just sit there for an hour, eat the bad steak, and smile for a horrible conversation, right? You can do that for an hour, right? What I'm asking you is, say, like, 5 minutes, right? You just smile, pretend like you are this amazing presenter. I'm going to show you how to do this. Just 5 minutes. Do you think you can do it? It's like, oh, okay, let's try it.
Yes. But I love how you're kind of stepping into somebody else temporarily. I feel like it is a suspension of disbelief. Now that you but it's like a suspension of disbelief, where I feel like one of the biggest barriers that we run into in all areas of life, not just speaking, is what you said before. This isn't who I am, or this isn't what I do. It's running into the identity and our past abilities that keep telling us, no, you can't do that. You're down, you're over here. Instead of this giving you an opportunity to become something new in the moment, take on that character and play, which then does become fun, actually, and enjoyable. It's not like enduring the bad steak, I'm sure, that you get up there and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually really enjoyable. I'm having fun with this. And then I can be the confident version of me, this version of me that I created to be, and then I can step back down. So that's beautiful. Yes, I love that. Well, tell us a little bit more also about how you help people. And I have a link if you want to connect with Anna on LinkedIn. Tell us a little bit more about how you do that with people. Do you do workshops or do you do one-on-one coaching? How do you help people?
All of it. I don't have a workshop schedule right now, but I do have a consultation depending on what are the needs of the person that is there. Whoever needs any help, if there is a presentation coming up, if there is a speech coming up, if there is an interview coming up. So reach out and we'll see what we can do to help you get there. Whatever it is we can do.
Yeah,
just that easy. It's just that easy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I got your link here and in the description as well to your LinkedIn. You can find Anna Scobie there. And are there any other comments or inspiration that you want to leave these speakers before we go?
I think you can do it. Whatever it is that you have planned, I think you can do it if you just do that one step at a time. That's just it. Just that simple. One baby step at a time.
You can do it. You can do it. And so many have done it before you, all the greats, like she said. So that's wonderful. Thank you again for coming on today. And to all you introverts out there, you take the mic, you step into that new version of you and go out there and get it, because we, like Anna said earlier, we need to hear what you have to say. You have very, very important things to say. You have experiences that need to be heard, and we need to hear them.
The world needs